Governor Andy Beshear is with us now to talk about this major storm that's not just affecting us, but it stretches from Texas all the way to New England. And Governor, a lot of your contemporaries right now are dealing with an ice storm or a snowstorm or terrible temperatures. You get all three, and that's particularly challenging in Kentucky, right?
It is, but at this point, after 11 months of a pandemic, I'd like to think that we can take anything. We have plunging temperatures. We have part of our state already dealing with ice, and we are about to get a bunch of snow. But we have hardworking folks from the transportation cabinet out right now fighting those road conditions, knowing that they've got a long night in front of them. And we've got folks from emergency management that are making sure that we are monitoring where people lose power, and the National Guard's out there ready to help. So we are ready, but what we need from everybody out there is to stay off the roads. If you can do that, if you can stay inside in your home or even just out in your yard, if you can get out there to play with the snow, it leaves those roads available for those that need it, for emergencies and for our cleaning crews.
Is that the biggest priority right now for you? Getting people off the road, or is your focus mostly on the power situation and worrying about people being not just in the dark, but in the very cold with no heat sources?
Well, as this storm is evolving, it starts at this moment, especially as we're around rush hour, with getting people home safely. The roads are treacherous. Even after we come by and salt them and scrape them, they're getting treacherous very quickly again. So get home, take your time, go slow. But it's very quickly going to turn to power outages. With the ice and then the snow coming on top of it, it's going to down a lot of tree limbs, which will down a lot of power lines. And so what that'll mean is we need to make sure people are warm. But with that comes the risk of carbon monoxide poisoning. In these storms, typically we're pretty good about staying warm and helping out one another, but we lose people when they put the generator inside or too close to the house or the charcoal grill or something else. Make sure that is 20 feet from the side of your house when you plug it in or get it started.
Warming centers, do you have plans for any shelters to open up for those folks who don't have an alternative?
We do. We're already seeing some being set up across the state. In Ashland today, we have the National Guard going door to door and bringing people to warming centers. I know that the city of Lexington is working on that, and we'll work with them. For anybody who needs that help, I know that there will be a place to go, and everybody will be out there ready to help you. Just make sure you communicate, check on your neighbors, especially seniors and others. Let's just take care of each other as we get through this. We're pretty good at that by now. Let's just make sure we keep looking out after one another.
A lot of people may not do the kind of preparation that they know they should, but they wait till the last minute, or they're hoping this blows over. What we don't need people doing in those situations when they've run out of time and they're scrambling, we don't need them calling 911. What would you advise them to do instead?
Well, first, don't call 911, and second, don't jump in your car and try to go out. You know, this storm is going to be pretty intense through tonight, but there'll be a period of time tomorrow where we think we will have things, or into Wednesday, where we'll have things clean and you can get out. Just about everybody has what they need to get by for a day or two, or go over to your neighbors and get help. But if you need information, do not call 911. Go online, check any of our websites. snowky.ky.gov is one. Then the transportation cabinet as well. 911 needs to be there for emergencies and emergencies only. And remember, when someone thinks there's an emergency, they send that ambulance or that police car or that fire truck out really quickly. And they be getting out quickly on these really dangerous roads. So make sure you look for credible information in a way that's not 911.
If we see massive power outages, that's one thing that the state or the county cannot repair quickly. So people are going to need patience through that, and then comes the threat of fire once the power has turned back on. What advice would you give for folks to get through any of these massive outages?
Well, first, if you lose power, call your utility company. They're getting pretty good now at giving you ranges of time about how long it will take. And they need those calls to make sure they know where specific outages are. Whatever you do, don't go close to down power lines. Assume that they can be harmful. And I know all of our utilities have been preparing. We've known this is coming. We're getting better at predicting and responding to them. And so at the moment, we don't think we will have the long outages we saw certainly in the ice storm in 2009. We're looking at most of a period of days, if not a lot less than that. So again, make sure you have the supplies you need. If you don't, call a neighbor, get through a day or so, and we're going to be all right.
Let's hope that those outages will be short in duration if we get them. We know this will likely slow down the vaccination process. People have waited a long time, and now they may have to wait several days. We understand that. However, are there any situations at these mass vaccination sites that you're aware of where the vaccine has been opened, it's been taken out of the refrigerator, and it's going to have to be used in a certain amount of time? What's the situation with that?
We currently don't have any situation where we are worried about losing a vaccine. If we did, we would get it to people. What we've been able to do is plan ahead. We've known the weather's been coming. For instance, we canceled our Kroger Frankfurt site for tomorrow already, and all those appointments are being shifted to next week. Every single one of our providers has plans if they lose power. That's our biggest concern, about how they either have backup generators or transfer it to another facility that does. So we've gone through all that planning, and we shouldn't lose one dose. And yes, it is going to slow down for individuals when they get their vaccine, perhaps by a week. But we know we have the capacity to double up next week if that keeps people safe from this storm. And in getting to actual immunity, it's not going to slow us down because we expect so much supply to come in late spring and into the summer. But I do want to recognize for those individuals that tried so hard to get an appointment and have been waiting so long, you'll have to wait one more week. But at least for the Kroger sites that we were on, the regional sites, you have a guaranteed slot exactly 1 week later at the same time and at the same location.
So you don't expect people to be passed over or drop out of the queue, so to speak, and have to start all over?
No, at least at any of the sites that the state is working directly with, you are going to have your appointment. You are not going to lose your slot. So don't lose your life trying to get to one of these places. If it's announced as closed, we are going to reschedule you. We promise there's a dose for you, and we're not going to give it to anybody else. We will get you in within a week. Next week's going to be a big week for vaccinations, and we'll be back on track.
All right, Governor Andy Beshear addressing the current situation with the winter weather storm bearing down on us. It's going to be different in different parts of Kentucky, so keep it here on LEX 18, and we will stay in close contact with Governor Beshear's administration to bring you the latest. Good luck, Governor.
Thank you, and everybody stay safe.